Well, Ewan, beautiful sunny day, not a cloud in the sky. The pitch looks wonderful from a distance, but deep down, that's where the problem is.
Well, yeah, welcome to an idyllic and balmy Netherdale at 1 degree. We are suffering the effects of the start of this frosty period, and yeah, what's underneath our feet is rock solid at the moment. That's putting Saturday in some
Serious
degree
doubt.
of danger, yes.
Because we're talking -9, -7, -5 up
Yeah.
to Friday.
Yeah.
There's no way it's going to get above what you need it to be and thaw quick enough.
That's the realistic truth, Stuart. We aren't going to have a playable pitch on Saturday. It's a real shame because look at what's around us. It's beautiful borders, weather and countryside. It's the perfect environment to come and play sport, but you can't play on concrete, unfortunately.
Now, a lot of people will be thinking, hang on a minute, they'll say, Gala, haven't they got an undersoil heating system? And you have, haven't you? But tell us why you can't use it.
It's a really fair question, Stuart. It's one that will undoubtedly be asked. It'll be asked by our own support. And the fact of the matter is that we are unable to use what is a functional system underground because of the economics of the situation. We simply cannot afford to run the heating system for the length of time that would be required to play or to be certain of playing a match on a Saturday. It needs to be sitting working for about 3 days in advance of a danger day, and then the fourth day when we play the match, and the cost to the club of that post all of the various emergencies that we've had in relation to costs and power is around £1,250 to £1,500 a day.
Wow.
Plus to maintain the system in working order, it would cost about £2,500 a year for maintenance and insurance. I don't think that in itself would be prohibitive, but the daily costs as they are now certainly are prohibitive. Unfortunately, we're just not in the position to risk that amount of money, and there's no chance of returning it quickly by any particular game other than a Melrose Gala game.
So when was it last used then?
I believe it was last used to real effect in around about 2011. It has been switched on since, and I may be wrong in my timing, Stuart, but I think the most notable use of the system since it was installed by the SRU at the point that the Border Reivers were set up. It's why the pitch is so fantastic most of the time, because it's a very well based pitch. It was last used about the freeze of 2011 when a couple of European games were played here. Sale were involved, Exeter, Newcastle. Great clubs, great sets of supporters came here, and we were the only ground in the country that was playable, and literally the country, the UK presumably, or the only one they could get access to. And great occasions here, and we could do that this weekend if the economics were more favourable.
Scotland used to bring internationals down here, like the age grade internationals, the under-20s, the club internationals. Scotland Day have played and beaten Tonga and America. And in fact, the Scottish national sides have had a great record at Netherdale, and they have been used there. But of course, they have the Hive now, where they play their matches. But that seems a shame, because I think it's really important to get national rugby around the areas, not just in the borders, but other places as well. What's your own view on that?
It's strong, Stuart, and it's shared by many that we'd love to see representative rugby coming away from the Hive. The Hive's a great venue and it's good, and I understand that a number of young lads are aspiring to play at the Hive, but there are many rugby supporters who would like to see the game brought out to the various clubs who have the infrastructure to support a game, and we certainly are in that bracket. And in conditions such as this, the Hive may be unplayable at certain points, but Netherdale would be playable. So yes, we are keen to see more of that kind of rugby at Netherdale, and certainly other clubs, I'm sure, who have the infrastructure to support a game. We could do it at short notice, which is another factor. We could play the Inter-District Championship at this time of the year at Netherdale. These sort of things are all feasible, and there is an absolute appetite for good quality rugby in this part of the world. I'm sure in the Edinburgh clubs, in the West clubs, and up north at Inverness as well. But certainly here, we proved on Boxing Day that on a good sunny Borders afternoon, we can bring out 2,000 people for simply Gala versus Melrose. If you multiply the number of people who would be interested in seeing a really good standard of professional rugby or representative rugby being played here at a competitive level, then I think that we can double that number without too much effort. And we have the capability here to give them a good day out, and the pitch is pretty close to perfect for the top guys to play on. So yeah, bring them out here. It's not Murrayfield, but every kid who's growing up and developing as a rugby player needs to know a little bit more than the Hive or Murrayfield. So coming out to the clubs, the good clubs who have fostered a lot of these kids, for me can only be good for rugby. It would be a good rugby experience for the youngsters playing in these games, and certainly the local crowds would appreciate it and would come out and support as they have done in the past. So yeah, I think that we have the facilities. We're not a million miles away from being able to stage these games. If the SRU were to become involved in assisting the capability to hold these games, that would be massively welcomed. It's been discussed, but hasn't gone as far as perhaps we would like it to go. So yeah, we want that kind of rugby in the Borders, Stuart.
And of course, another way in is the Inter-District Championship.
Absolutely.
You're proudly wearing the South of Scotland top at the moment.
Absolutely.
And that was traditionally played in sort of January, February time as well.
Yeah.
And of course, the conditions then are pretty frosty. So there might be an opportunity there to get the undersoil heating working again.
Yeah, absolutely, Stuart. And I think that would be a classic case in point as to why we feel perhaps the SRU should show a little bit of interest in supporting our capability to do it. We're not looking for handouts, Stuart. We're just simply saying that we have a fantastic facility here which is available to be used for minor internationals, for the Inter-District Championship, for which it's ideal. We've shown that at other times of the year. So yeah, the capacity and interest is here for that. The players want an Inter-District Championship, but they don't particularly want to just run out. Players in the south of Scotland want to play for the south of Scotland. There is no doubt whatsoever about that. They are up for playing for the south of Scotland, and if we offer the chance to pull on the jersey, then they'll jump at it, and they'll do it with great enthusiasm and massive commitment. To get some of the others to become involved, it needs to be meaningful. They want to be playing for a purpose, and the purpose is to win the Inter-District Championship and then move on to club international rugby. They need a pathway that they know as club players they can follow. And the Inter-District Championship at the moment is deemed to be the correct route, but we are not putting the requisite energy into making sure it happens. The appetite exists, that we need to get the format right to enthuse the players across the country and to give them a reward going forward, and then bring Scotland to play Ireland here if no one else wants it. I'm sure others do want it, but yeah, it's one of these things that it needs determination, enthusiasm, and it needs to be a priority for the union. If it's not a priority for the union, it simply won't happen. So that's a bit of a challenge for the guys in Edinburgh.